Welcome to One-on-One. I am your host, Jimmy Olsen, and joining me today from Rock and Prevention, I've got Pat McManus, Christina, Jensen. Pat, how are you doing, man?
We're doing great, Jimmy. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, we're trying to do the best we can, living in our little bubbles, and it just kind of takes me back. You remember the movie "The Boy in the Bubble" with John Travolta, right?
Vaguely.
Of course, it's like where did the last 3 months go to? It's just been completely insane, a totally different world. But we're learning how to get by and kind of figure things out. No, I know it's been a while since we've chatted, and I kind of wanted to catch up with you and just to kind of get the listeners caught up a little bit. Just give us a kind of a quick background of Rock and Prevention and how it got started.
Sure, you bet. Back in 1990, I had been working in a hospital treatment center using music in therapy with kids who were alcoholics and drug addicts. And I had been there from 1983 until 1990. A lot of kids really enjoyed the use of music in therapy, that when they couldn't be reached with kind of traditional therapeutic strategies or traditional group work, it was very easy for them to talk about their thoughts and their feelings through a song rather than just direct, conversation about it. So it gave them a secondary way to talk about the difficult issues that they were going through. From there, I went and talked to Bill Reichart, the clothier, and Bill introduced me to Mr. Ray Johnson, who was a television executive for WYTV Channel 5. And Ray and I founded Rock and Prevention with an investment banker back in 1990. And I remember Ray standing in front of a group of investors, and he said, we're going to help 15,000 people this year. And I'm like, oh, Ray, how are we ever going to do that? And with the help of the Iowa Broadcasters Association, we helped 21,000 people in that first year.
Wow.
And in a program called Rock Live. What Rock Live is where me and my staff would go into a local community. We would train like 15 to 30 local high school mentors who then with our staff would teach younger kids. There was a kindergarten through grade 3 program, a grades 4 through 6 program, and a 7th and 8th grade program, all age-appropriate skills in how to refuse alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, and also to teach them life skills for success. From 1990 through 97, in 1997, we were nominated by the Iowa Department of Public Health for an Exemplary Programs Award and went to Washington, D.C., and were honored as one of the 20 best prevention programs. In 2004, 2005, we started to do some research with Iowa State University, which got us on the National Registry of Evidence-Based Programs and Practices. The program continued to grow, and we ended up helping 1.5 million kids with the Rock Live program.
Wow.
Now,
and here we are 30 years later.
Exactly, 30 years. 30 years. Can you believe that? It's
I know.
tough to believe when I'm only 40.
You're listening to One-on-One. I'm your host, Jimmy Olsen, chatting with Pat McManus with Rock and Prevention. Now, with you, Pat, is Christina Jensen. Christina, what do you do for Rock?
Hi, so I help to create the curriculum, and also I talk a lot with our software developers to get everything set up so that our curriculum will run as smoothly as possible for all of our users. And I also help to kind of market to different schools and talk to different schools, and quite a bit of that.
So
Christina is our special projects coordinator is her title, and she does a great job at Rock. This new programming that we're working on, Jimmy, is an online remote curriculum that can be done, anytime, anywhere. And so with everything that's going on with COVID-19 and schools and the struggles that they're faced with, Rock Digi, which is the new curriculum, can be taught at home. It can be taught at school, and it can be taught in homeschool. There's a lot of different options for the program. Now,
Well, that's kind of a perfect segue. I mean, before we get into, I know you've got a new program you guys are you're putting together, getting ready to launch. But let's kind of like talk about the last 90 days for you guys, because again, you guys would go to schools to train the mentors and all that, and kind of with the shutdown and not being able to get together. Were you already working on you're talking about this digital program? Were you already working on that, or were you kind of forced a little bit to figure out a way to kind of keep the program out there for kids to get a hold of?
No, we were already working on it, Jimmy. We started working on it about 2 years ago, and we suspended the Rock Live program so that we could keep our focus on this new curriculum, because we truly believe that rock and prevention in the future is going to be able to help a lot more kids through a digital, online, remote curriculum.
Well, and then that really opens up the door for you. I mean, because I know you at one point you were traveling and going to schools in Missouri and other markets. This kind of opens it up that you can pretty much go to any school anywhere, right?
That would be correct. Because it's remote and it's online, and they can purchase it online anywhere they can speak English. They can pretty much do the program worldwide.
So, I mean, just not to bring up maybe a hard part of this, but I know a lot of nonprofits, again, kind of dealing with the whole coronavirus over the last 90 days, and they've been seeing a little bit of hurt. So not only not being able to see kids, what about for you and funding and donations right now? Because I've heard a lot of nonprofits kind of, not only the commercial side, but the nonprofit side is kind of taking a little hit right now.
Yes, we have. And, fundraising has never been easy,
Right.
It has never been easy in good times and in bad. It's just, you got to be willing to kind of walk through walls for what you believe in. And because here at Rock and Prevention, we believe in Rock Digi and we believed in the Rock Live program, it's made us very successful. So we just keep trying. But I will say that, donations are down. A lot of people took hits in the stock market, so monies that they might normally have had to do for philanthropy, they're simply not there.
Right.
And but we're still holding our own. We're still doing good. We've been responsible with our funds, and we've saved money back over all these 30 years so that we would have the opportunity to create this new curriculum and to be able to withstand tough times like right now. So we did develop a reserve fund, and we're okay, but we've still got to raise a lot of money.
So if somebody would want to be part of Rock and Prevention and partner with you guys, how can they reach out, get a hold of that, get all the information to help?
Sure, they could contact me here at Rock. My number is 515-255-0635. Again, that number, 515-255-0635. Or I can be had on my email is pat.mcmanus@rockinprevention.org. And that's ROCKIN prevention.org.
And you can also find details on your website and everything too about Rock and Prevention, correct?
Absolutely. And if they wanted to find out about the Rock Digi curriculum, they can simply go to Rock Digi, that's ROCKDIGI.org. And there are free trial lessons, one for grades 2 through 4. There's one for grades 5 and 6. And there's one grades 7 through 9, which meet social studies requirements while at the same time of teaching social emotional learning and empathy. And the name of that program is I Am Rock World Empathy.
Again, you're listening to 101. I'm your host, Jimmy Olson, chatting with Rockin' Prevention's Pat McManus and Christina Jensen. So let's back up just a few years, because I know this is a curriculum that you guys started a few years ago when, the whole bullying thing, the social media and all that really started, really raising its head again. Walk us through that part of your program that you guys offer.
When you see most quality social emotional learning programs, you're going to find that it affects the whole child. And it's going to, when you're working on developing assets in children or resiliency in children, you're going to see lower drug use. You're going to see lower alcohol use. You're going to see a person that is more confident and okay with themselves, and thus less bullying. So we approach it from a strengths-based approach of helping develop, child developmental assets and teaching them life skills for success. Too often we're taught, don't do this, don't do that. That's really not our style. Our style is more, do these things that are healthy, do these things that are good, because they're going to have positive outcomes for you if you do them. And we try to teach them as habits. You can have bad habits or you can have good habits. And when you train yourself to do good things again and again and again, you become more and more confident, because there are real positive consequences from doing good things. There are also harmful consequences from doing negative things. But we want to focus more on, hey, what's in it for me? How can I grow? How can I change and embrace change? That, life is being open to change. And how do I do that? How do I do that in relationships? How do I manage my anger when I get mad at somebody? Who's going to teach me what to say and what to do when I'm faced with a situation where, I'm tempted to lose it? We talk real directly about issues like that, and talk about what to do and what to say.
Well, I like I said, I know you guys really started launching the whole anti-bullying campaign again. This has been years ago, but we're talking with Pat McManus with Rockin' Prevention and Christina Jensen. You're listening to 101. I'm your host, Jimmy Olson. And it sounds like with what you did with that whole anti-bullying, working on that positive side, you've kind of turned into a new program that you guys are working on now, dealing with, as you already mentioned, the social and emotional part for the kids to kind of help them with that positive reinforcement that you're getting ready to launch.
Yeah, we follow the castle model, it's called, and it's self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. I'm going to have Christina kind of tell you a little bit about, from her perspective, what she sees so valuable about Rock Digi.
Okay.
Yeah, so SEL really, it occurs all day, every day, and everywhere. So it kind of, we kind of describe SEL as like the pie crust in school, and then like all the other subjects like math and social studies and science and all of those other subjects, those are like the pie crust, and social emotional learning is supporting those things like math and social studies, science. So if they have those social emotional learning skills, then they're much more likely to do better in school. And like Pat was saying, they're less likely to be involved in substance abuse. And it also will later help them with employment and just their entire life overall. So
now we just need an adult version of this, Pat.
There is. And
is there?
It's through the school home partnership. In the school home partnership, each child will listen and watch whiteboard animation with their parent, and then with their parent they'll answer 2 questions together. And those 2 questions together is what helps get the social emotional learning in with the parents. So that's it's through entertainment almost is the
Right.
best way to describe it, through lyric music videos, through whiteboard animations, through group discussion questions, through teacher drill down activities, and using of a pre and a post test to measure student learning. That's pretty much how RockDigi works. And then the school home partnership is we get that information into the home, because oftentimes parents may not have experienced a lot of resiliency training or social emotional learning.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Christina said, the filling, academic achievement is like the filling in the pie, and social emotional learning is like the crust of the pie holding it all together. And the whole thing is designed toward, hey, if you have a healthy kid, if you have a strong kid, they're going to be more likely to achieve their best academic performance possible. So it's like preparing kids for life.
Fantastic. That is now, Christina. So you're the one that really is kind of heading up the social emotional learning through the RockDigi.
Yeah. So I work together with some other counselors and teachers and directors of student learning, and we all just kind of work together along with Pat to create this curriculum and make it great for kids. So, and
we also have a whiteboard animator, one from the UK, one from India, one from Germany. We really have an international team. We worked with a filmmaker from Verona, Italy, all kind of different folks. Locally, we worked with John Locker with the Sonic Factory, and he helped do some of the lyric music video work. But it's just been a great team of folks that we brought together, and we have a lot of different contractors that work on the team, and it all comes out of our office. But we work together with a lot of different people. I think over 20.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's been a really rewarding experience too. Just knowing that how good the curriculum is. When you got a lyric music video, a kid can see the words of the song while at the same time they hear it. Well, that helps to drive it down to a deeper understanding. And whiteboard animation, because a kid is sitting there watching a whiteboard, something being drawn, because of the anticipatory part of watching the drawing being done, that it helps kids retention by 15%. So you take whiteboard animation, which is entertaining in the first place, and a lyric music video, which is also entertaining. Kids like it. If you like something, you're more likely to learn from it. And I think all adults listening to this podcast would know that to be true for themselves.
Well, you're kind of working with both the audio and the visual, so you're hitting two senses at once for them to, through the research, we've all heard it for years of how being able to use both of them, you can retain more when it's all said and done.
Absolutely. And then we go to group discussion questions, which takes that information and drives it to an even deeper understanding, where kids can hear from their peers what their peers are thinking about the different topics at hand. And boy, I tell you, what they learn from one another is oftentimes a big surprise to each kid. It is a neat, we call it the RockDigi experience. It's a neat experience and a great way to teach.
Again, you're listening to a One-on-One. I'm your host, Jimmy Olson, and we are talking with Pat McManus and Christina Jensen with Rock and Prevention. And I want to thank you guys for your time this afternoon. And before we completely wrap it all up, I want you to give us all the information of how they can reach out to you, find out about RockDigi, find out about how they can be part of what Rock is, either through financial or other ways that you could use support. How can they do that?
Sure. We would really like to encourage people to go to rockdigi.org, and that's rockdigi.org, and go, and you can just sign up for some free trial lessons, and you can experience it for yourself and go through each kind of stage of each lesson. It is very cool. I would encourage people to do that. You can go to our website if you'd like to make a donation. And if you'd certainly like to get a hold of me, you can reach me here at Rock and Prevention at 515-255-0635. Again, that number, 515-255-0635.
Fantastic. Pat, Christina, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. They're with Rock and Prevention. Learn more about the whole Rock Digi program at rockdigi.org. You've been listening to One on One. I'm your host, Jimmy Olsen.